No, I think when people think of a union, they think of like the Teamsters or whatever, where they're outside picketing. In the print union world, it is more to benefit the employees.
Multicraft_daddy. Guys, you know the drill. Look, open Instagram on your phone, pull it up, click the message button, and then send Dave. He's got amazing videos. Every time we pull this up, I'm like, this is the best. I love the flannel one. Send him a DM with your email address. He's sending out gifts every single week, including a bunch of PMI tape, which PMI is doing some incredible innovations as well. So that's always really cool to see in the space. Mention the Printavo pod that gets you 10% off your first order with Multicraft. They've been supplying the industry for over 50 years with top brands at competitive pricing.
Bruce, I want to tell you about the best new software platform to hit the industry. It's called DGI Apparel, and it was built by a group of MIT engineers with a background in screen printing. DGI allows you to connect your accounts with Sanmar, Alphabroder, and SNS, and more to compare prices, inventory, and shipping times across every apparel supplier on one website. That's right. You can go on there, connect all your accounts, and you can even buy like AS Color on there, which is pretty cool. The average shop spends 2 hours purchasing every day, and DGI is going to cut that time in half. So ask yourself, what would you do with an extra hour every day? And we don't have a promo code for DGI because DGI is always free for shops to use. That's right. It costs you $0. And if you're not already using it, you're wasting your own time and money. There's over 1,500 other shops already using DGI Apparel. So check them out. And this morning, they actually showed us a new feature that will automatically order from your Printavo invoices. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that or not, but it's like autopilot, and it blew my mind. So DGI Apparel, check them out. All right, who we got next, Bruce?
GraphX Source. Stephen was just spending a week down in Honduras at one of the GraphX Source offices and was totally blown away. GraphX Source offers industry leading options for your shop. Campus Ink is what, 6 or something? Artists handling a lot 8. Of production art. Oh, wow. Okay. SEPs, mockups. I know you guys are doing online store building there too. They do digitizing, back office admin, and customer service, but they've been around for 40 plus years. I didn't know that, but that's incredible. Mention Printavo Pod 24. That gets you 50% off your first vector, SEP, or digitize order. Thanks, GraphX.
All right. Bruce, I know you don't have a DTF machine. I do. And one of the struggles of DTF printing is dryers. But this great company called BMAC, that's BMAC Industries, and DTF Superstore are leading and innovating a solution in the DTF printing industry by building a state-of-the-art dryer. It's the top-of-the-line equipment that's manufactured here in the States, and it enhances productivity and quality. I've got one of them in my shop, and they're built like tanks. They have a commitment to excellence. BMAC Industries continues to push the boundaries of what's possible in garment decoration. And they're hosting DTF Expo in Arizona in April. So BMAC, DTF Superstore, DTFexpo.com. Go check them out. Great people over there, and we appreciate them sponsoring the podcast. Thanks so much.
Last but not least, EasyWay. If you're spending hours cleaning screens, that is a thing of the past with EasyWay screen printing and screen cleaning chemicals. Their innovative formulas are designed to work quickly and effectively, so you could spend less time cleaning and more time creating. Spent a bunch of time hanging out with the EasyWay team at Long Beach, and it was awesome. Always a good time with them. Plus, EasyWay is passionate about empowering printers of all skill levels. Their website, easyway.com, an insane amount of resources. So especially if you're just getting, your shop up and running, you have different problems on Reclaim, they've got a lot there to be able to help. So check out their expert advice as they can help you succeed in printing. All right, let's jump into the episode. All right, Don, we are live. Just getting back from Long Beach. Do you usually go to Long Beach, or you didn't go this year?
I've never gone. It falls on the weekend of my granddaughter's birthday. Oh. And every year it's like, oh no, I don't get to go this year. But this year my husband had a heart attack. That's why we didn't go. He had 2 in 7 days. Whoa. So our plan was to go this year. And then he goes and throws out 2 heart attacks. And so we didn't go. He's still recovering.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's good. It happened on December 30th and January 7th. back to back.
And you were telling me he's pretty healthy.
Oh, totally. He works out daily. He eats well, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything that could have contributed to it. And they said it's just genetic. But all of a sudden, 12 days after his 50th birthday, he just throws out 2 heart attacks.
That is one of the things separately of this podcast, but that people say to regularly get, especially even mid 30s and over, definitely mid 40s or 40s and over, is a CT or a calcium score. And it's maybe $100, $200 or something like that. But yeah, you get a calcium score and that can help tell you where you're at, because you're right. You can be very healthy and still be genetically predispositioned to plaque buildup. But
I had no idea.
Yeah, hopefully he's doing okay.
Yes, he's just trucking along, staying out of the shop though. He's grounded until February 1st. He's got to just chill and stay home and do nothing until the 1st.
This is a wanted poster up on the front of the door.
Yes.
If you see this man, close the door.
Pretty much. That's how it is.
Okay.
We've had to force him to stay home and do nothing.
What was his role? What was your role at E2 Embroidery, or is?
I do more operation stuff. He does production. He actually loves to print. He will sit at a press all day long and he just loves to print. We call him one color Joe though. And
you guys manage well enough. I mean, you're a bigger shop, which we'll get into, but manage well enough when he's not there.
Oh yeah, there's 22 of us, so it's fine. He's just he did a whole career at the fire department. He retired 3 years ago after 27 years. So this was not his retirement plan to sit and print every day. But since that's what we do, that's what he's done, and he enjoys it. It's like therapeutic in a way. He says, I don't know how, but he says it is. I'm going to believe him.
Okay, so E2 Embroidery and Screen Printing, you guys started in 2011?
We did. In our basement.
In the basement. What was the pivot to, like, what drove this decision?
Well, I always outsourced everything. I started in food and hospitality uniforms back in, forever ago, 2003, 4-ish. Just selling to hotels, catering companies, restaurants, places like that. And then when my son graduated high school in St. Louis, he stayed at SLU. So we moved back home to Kansas City, which is where I'm from. And then Joe and I ended up getting married. And I was still selling uniforms, but I was just doing it online. Hotels would send in their orders. I'd outsource them, drop ship it all to them, and they would get their stuff. And one day he's like, how can I help on my off days? I was like, well, I outsource all my embroidery. You want to buy an embroidery machine and do that? And so he did. It went from 1 embroidery machine to 3 to where we are today.
So you're doing these uniforms and you were, this was by yourself or this was with another company?
No, I had a store in St. Louis. And then 2008 happened and everything went to hell in a handbasket in 2008. And then I just brought everything home and did everything online. Just started selling online. And then when I came to Kansas City.
And when I came to Kansas City. Did you close the store?
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't anything going on in St. Louis in 2008 besides everybody closing everything.
How was that transition of going online for something like that you would think, most people want to touch and feel everything?
Well, because we did uniforms, hotel uniforms, it was basically banquet uniforms, which are tuxedo pants, tuxedo shirts, chef coats, aprons. It was an easy sell outside of sizing, which we would do sizing. We would take size runs to the hotels and set up in the banquet room and just have everybody come in, size, and we'd ship their uniforms to them.
Going back a step too, how did you get into the uniform business there?
Because I was in food and hospitality staffing for years. So that's where I originally started in 1984. I did food and hospitality staffing. And when you're in the temp staffing world and you have to dress up, you pretty much have to provide the uniform to your staff because they won't show up the way you want them to. So we started having a closet full of tuxedo pants and shirts, and then we were just selling them at cost. And it's like, well, the hotels would find out we had them in our closet at the office. So they said, hey, do you happen to have 6 extra tuxedo shirts? We're like, okay, sure, we'll bring them down. And then it just kind of went into a business. And then it was the Renaissance Grand in St. Louis was our first embroidery job. They said, can you put our logo on our vest? And at the time, my son was 10. So we went and bought this little brother 10 needles, something real quick, and threw the Renaissance logo on 70 vests. My son was 10 years old and he did it all himself. We chalked it with the chalk line. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it makes me laugh. It's like this little chalk thing.
There's a single head embroidery.
Single head, yeah.
Machine.
I mean, I laugh at some of the stories. I wish I had pictures. I mean, social media wasn't a thing, but I sure wish I took more pictures of how it all started. Like chalking things on the kitchen table. And
I feel that same way, especially starting in a business early. If you are just getting started and maybe it's just you or just one or two, take way more photos.
Totally.
Even if you're stressed out, take pictures of the space you're in, maybe some interesting jobs, just, day to day, anything that happens, customers come in, take selfies of them, because you will regret not doing that.
I do. We've moved about 5 times, and I wish we had it all the way back from our basement, where we kicked our son out of the basement because we needed the wall that butted up to the storage room to expand our production area. So we moved him upstairs, and the girls had to bunk up. Like our house, it was hilarious.
Wow.
Kids everywhere. So we have 6 kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You got a big family.
Yeah. We're bunking up kids just to make a shop downstairs in the basement.
So what was the transition then going to, because you guys are in Kansas City, right? How did you end up in Kansas City? And then where did the business have these different pivot points that really grew it to what it is now, which we'll share after?
Well, I'm from Kansas City. This is where I'm always from. And in 2003, my brother had a business in St. Louis. So I went up to St. Louis and worked for him for a little bit, which got me into the food and hospitality industry because he was selling hard goods, glassware, tableware, all that stuff. I was selling the uniforms. And then obviously I had kids out there. So my kids were going to school, and I didn't just want to, after I got divorced, I didn't want to just leave and come back midstream when my kids were in school, come back to Kansas City, which was always my plan, but I didn't want to uproot my kids. So I waited until my son graduated high school. So instead of him moving away to college, we moved away, left him at college because he wanted to go to SLU. Just kind of evolved from there. And now I'm back in Kansas City, have been since 2013.
And you guys run a pretty big operation there. Can you tell us about the business today and people?
Yes. So now we have
size.
22 employees. We have 10,000 square feet. We run 2 automatics. We have 20 heads of embroidery that we run 2 shifts because we need more embroidery machines and we don't have them. That's it. We have a small retail section. We do friends and family merch type stuff for the Kansas City Fire Department. And that's our only retail customer. Everybody else is contract.
So majority of contract business. How do you manage the 2 shifts? Are you there both shifts? Are you there half of each and try to spread in between? How does that work?
No, we only run screen print 2 shifts when absolute dire need. It's embroidery. So we have 2 guys that just come in 11 to 7. When we leave in the daytime, they just set out the jobs. We run Printavo. So all the jobs are just lined up for them for the second shift. What they need to do is they download the DST files and they line up the jobs that are need for the night.
Do you have a production manager or some sort of lead, person that is a go-to in case you're not there?
Not at night. I mean, one's been there longer than the other. My daughter runs the day shift embroidery. So they'll call her if there's a problem, or if, knock on wood, there hasn't been that many problems in the evening because we usually save like the longer run pieces where they're not changing designs, they're not changing threads a lot. They're just doing production.
Gotcha. Even for, things like approval or everything's literally ready to go then, you're saying. So there's no texting you, there's no reaching out, you're at dinner and there's...
I mean, there has been, yeah. I don't know. Something always happens, but nothing too drastic. Where I've had to run down there a couple times, a breaker will break, or usually in the wintertime when they've got space heaters on everywhere and blow a fuse, but nothing serious with embroidery.
And even with staffing, you don't have to worry about that. So, I don't know, people just calling off and you're short staffed at night, or do you shift things around and just run it again during the day?
regularly. Yeah. Our night shift is actually pretty good, but we missed 4 shifts, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, I think it was. Whenever we had that snowstorm, we had the ice roll in. I don't know if you guys had it up in Chicago, but we had an ice storm that shut down Kansas City pretty much for 4 shifts. So that was really the only struggle so far this year that we've had with staffing. But the usual, out of 22 people that are on the payroll, probably 4 are missing every day. True story.
How do you manage that? Is it, when we were growing more, I realized I needed more duplication of roles. So, if there was one person doing customer service and that person was out, guess who was doing customer service? That would be me. If 2 people, it was more rare for me to have to jump in. And I may not need 2 people, but gosh, I really did not like just basically changing roles like that. How do you deal with that?
Not well. The morning starts with the morning panic fire drill. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? So we have 4 autos, but we typically keep 5 screen printers on staff. Then we have our production staff, folders, catchers, all that stuff. We duplicate that position, but it's hard for us to do that because we pay higher wages because we are a union shop. So all of our employees are higher wages. So by having that extra $800 a week person really hurts your budget, margins, et cetera, when they're just there in case someone doesn't show up. Because on sometimes they're both there and you don't really need both of them. So you're finding something for the other person to do.
For what you can share, is there a range of an idea of what you mean by paying more? Maybe for a press operator, for example?
Our press operators, they start out at $22 an hour. Then we get them, our highest is $33. Not for any particular reason, just because like a lot of the print shops here in Kansas City, when people come to apply and they say that they've been working somewhere forever and they're only at 12 or they're only at 15, like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people have maybe it's just their market and they're able to do that. But when I drive in every day, I'm happy that everybody has a car. Everybody has an apartment. Everybody has groceries. And I don't have to worry about feeling guilty that someone has to work 2 jobs or can't make it. We chose to go that route to pay more than normal.
Yeah, I want to dive into that too on the union side. I was looking up Kansas City, Missouri minimum wage, $13.75. Now, I don't know if maybe the city is different than Missouri, but anyway, so you're almost double that.
And it works. I mean, I don't know if it works like if I were to say I'm going to put screen printers at $30 to $40 an hour, we're still going to get those same screen printers. There's not new screen printers coming out just because the pay is more. But also the other print shops in the areas that pay $13 to, I want to say $17 an hour, which is pretty common. The same people that we're paying $22 to $30 for. I haven't figured out how to make sense of that because they don't have more people. They don't do more or less sales. Maybe I just look at things differently, being from our union background, possibly.
Interesting. And wrapping up on the schedule thing. So, you coming in, especially, let's say 22 people or so, roughly 4 out. Is that just, how we're reorganizing in the morning, or how do you approach that?
If someone's missing up front, which is customer service, it just is what it is. No one's really, unless the phones are all 4 ringing and someone's like, grab that for me real quick, put them on hold, say E2 and put them on hold. So that kind of works itself out. The back, if it's a printer, we hope it's only one printer, which there have been times when it's a couple printers. Then it's like, oh man, let's start calling and doing damage control because we know we're going to be late on several jobs, which is going to be not only today, but tomorrow and the next day. And the trickle effect of being down staff. Shipping, receiving, we have 2 people. They're typically both there, if not one. But even then, UPS drops off 100 or so boxes. We up front, sometimes all 3 of us will go back in the back. We know what's coming and we're looking for those boxes, and we will actually cart the stuff to get it on the press, to get it back out the door. We do a lot of fire drills for real.
As a bigger contract shop owner, then what do you feel like is that sounds like a struggle, but I don't know if that's maybe the greatest struggle, or what do you think? What is your toughest struggle as an owner?
People. And, oh gosh, it's so hard to put my finger on it because it's so different. Like we have so many different demographics, backgrounds, ages. We have a bunch of 20 somethings and a couple of 40 and overs. And there is definitely a difference in age and the importance of going to work or hanging out because it's the day after Thanksgiving and they want to go Black Friday shopping. We joke that all the employees that come and apply need to have mortgages and car payments because then at least they'll come to work because they have to make money. It's the younger generation that are still at home don't really, if they make 40 hours, cool. If they don't, they got close. And that's my biggest struggle right now, trying to figure out how to get everybody to come to work.
I find that similarly in that people in their 20s are still figuring out a little bit more of their direction of where they want to be. And so you may, like we experienced some of they may be into this and then 6 months later they're not into it. And so that can be tough when helping to train someone or not. And then maybe 30s and 40s, a little bit more established, more directionally pointed towards they want to go. But I guess not that it depended on the role as well. And obviously there's exceptions to this role that I've had, but it's tough. I mean, have you found motivational areas that help you, create an environment where someone that's younger is more fired up or can attend more? Like, some people have said just financial. If you're here and have perfect attendance for 90 days for the first time you start, maybe we create a better habit out of the gate. Here's a couple $100 extra. Is there anything that's helped for you guys, or is it just very independent, like person to person dependent?
Person to person. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I can't figure it out, but I will tell you that for probably 3 years, we have not had 22 people in the building any one day in 3 years.
You have the the thing on the wall where it's the numbers of, safety days, no injuries, but yours is 100% attendance and the days keep going up.
Yeah. And we even during Christmas, I always try to think of bonus things to do. And it's okay, we're going to do $5 for every day you didn't miss or something like that. Or if you didn't miss days, it's $5 for one time only 2 people got over $500 all the way down to 3 people got $15. They were only there. Oh, it's on time one. They were only there at 7 a.m. on the nose 3 times in 365 days. So I go through Gusto and I calculating everybody's timekeeping stuff. Oh my gosh, these 3 people were only on time 3 times in however many work days are. But if I did a whole, the little star thing, you put your name and then the stars for 365, people would be so upset. Oh my gosh. But it might draw awareness to hey, this is a business, especially if the printers don't show up on time. So our start time's 7, but if the printers show up at 7:05, but everybody in the middle and the catchers, boulders, quality control are all there, and the presses don't start running anything till 7:30, then I'm paying 9 people 30 minutes at 20 to whatever an hour, and nobody sees that number except for me when I go out back and I'm oh my gosh, why is everybody just kind of hanging out? Why are we having breakfast? Oh, the printers aren't here yet. I don't know how to correct that. I don't know how to make people want to be the 15-minute early people. I can't figure it out.
On the other, the kind of hard ass side of the spectrum, is there, look, if you're late X times, you're out? Or is it because labor is so difficult, it's hard to retrain people? Or, they've been with you a while, so I also have the sort of emotional connection too part where I'll give in.
No, I told my husband, if we fired everybody that was late, it'd just be me, you, and the girls. My two daughters work for us.
Here we go. We're back in the house.
Yeah.
Scoot
they know
over.
better.
We're bunking.
Yeah. But I said that because we talk about it all the time. My gosh, how are these grownups? If you know that we have one guy who's 7 minutes late every single day for months. And we were like, you know that you're 7 minutes late. Wake up 7 minutes early. Get in your car 7 minutes early. Do everything 7 minutes early. But it was like no big deal, dude, to do. I'm just, hey, like, yeah, you just stop production. And all these people are waiting, depending on you to be here. Like the printers are obviously the most important part, because if those things aren't spinning, the day doesn't even get to begin. But yeah, I struggle with that big time. I don't know if anybody's got any advice, but if you do, call me.
Yeah, drop a line in the comments. We'd love to know.
For sure. We give 2 hours for every 40 hours that they work. So it's 104 PTO hours a year. We give half of health benefits to the employee, and we offer it to their spouses too at their cost.
Whoa.
We take nice. Every federal holiday off. Somebody's got a family problem, a kid problem, a babysitting problem. Go. We'll figure it out. We're very family oriented. So it's not like someone could say, oh, I'm late because I hate it here. Like there's so many perks and business and benefits to working at E2. I just think it's a people problem and not so much anything else problem. Unless I'm blind to something that I don't see, but it's so easy and such a good environment.
You said that you were a union shop. I don't know if we've had one of the union shop on, actually. That's not true, out of San Francisco before. But what's the thought process there? My small brain wants to say, well, it's already hard enough for me to, do all the things. A union, wouldn't that step in the way from me managing the team? Like, I don't know the details as well. All I know is really what I see on television about it. So how did that start for you guys?
So we've always been union. I grew up in a union household. My grandpa was a union painter. My dad was a union machinist for the railroad. My husband's dad worked at Ford. He was a union there. My husband was a union firefighter. My print shop was a union print shop because of our family history, values. My across the street neighbor was an iron worker, and he's like, if you're a union print shop, then you could print all of our iron worker stuff. So that really kind of pushed me to joining the union back in 2005, possibly, and just being a union print shop. And then as I grew from my next door neighbor's union to all the ones that we have now, I believe in it. We believe in it. Yes, it does. Some businesses hate unions. They can't stand it. Unions, but unless you dive deep into what unions offer and how they benefit you, families, businesses, it's really hard to understand. Like a lot of people.
Can you share that? Like what does it? So yeah. So what are the pros?
The pros are, people know that we will pay well. That kind of like an integrity thing. Like, oh wow, they uphold these standards. They're going to pay well. They're going to take care of their employees. They're going to do a good job. They're going to stand behind all their stuff. Not that any other print shop doesn't. For us, it's more of a belief. We believe in labor unions, so we want to be part of the labor union and be part of the labor movement, and just always have. I can't say that there's no upside to it, because there's a lot of upside, but there's no downside to it, because we can do both. We print union, non-union. We prefer not to, but we will do both. A lot of our customers don't even know what labor unions are. I feel like we do it because of our history and our family history and how we've just always been part of a union growing up and as adults.
From that job side, so you say it sounds like you get access to print work that, others can't do because you are a union shop. So that's a big pro.
Correct.
Are you able to, because, it sounds like you have higher overhead. Are you able to then charge more because of that? Or they understand that? So you have to, right? If your overhead is a bit higher.
Yeah. It's hard to get people to people understand that unions pay more. We come right out and tell everybody, the reason why our contract price is maybe a little bit higher, and it's only really cents, but some people are down, they'll quit you over 2 cents. It's only down to cents because we don't monetize that the way some print shops do. We pay more, make less, and that's a true statement. We if you compare us to any other contract print shop, our prices are probably within cents, but our employees probably make a couple dollars more per hour and have the benefits that we offer.
How do you feel about that then? It sounds like you're very passionate about it anyway, because your team is taken care of. They are able to have, like you said, a car, they have insurance, and that, I guess the temptation of comparison is always there, especially looking at, another business that's doing similar things. Oh, I can get there. I want to be able to do that. Do you think about that?
When I compare ourselves to other print shops and I'm like, my gosh, I wish we made those kind of margins. That's only in my head. Like, I'm completely satisfied with the way our business runs, and our profit for our company is less because our employees are paid better. And I'm totally fine with that. I don't know if E2 will ever be a for sale business, because someone might be like, oh my gosh, you pay too much. Your payroll's eating up all your profit. Maybe so. But that's what we chose to do. I could change it at any particular time, and I could be like, all right, everybody's fired, and tomorrow we're going to charge 15 or pay everybody $15 an hour. Never do that. But that is if we wanted to profit more than we currently do. Some people might be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Why are you in business? You just created yourself a job. Maybe so, but we have a great life. We have all the things that we need. My children have homes and cars, and we have homes and cars, and all of the employees have cars, and nobody's working 2 jobs. And that makes me feel good. That's more of a monetary value than, oh, I made $1 million versus 500,000. That's okay. Like, the margins are so extreme at this point that it's like nobody really needs an excessive amount of anything.
How does it work if someone needs to be let go at a union shop? Is it difficult, or is it just doing the usual of documentation? Here's a 30-day notice. Okay, it's not working. What's that like?
Usually, when they have to go, they know they're going. it's their. We give so many. Why'd you do that? How many times are you going to come in late? I mean, we're the parents that ground their kids and let them out 5 minutes later. There's never consequences. Like, why did you do that? You put everybody else in a bad way or whatever, or the threatening parents, but don't do anything about it until we do. There's been a couple people that it's like, out, you've got to go. You can't do that kind of stuff here. Sometimes it's drug related. Sometimes it's somebody had somebody show up at the shop that shouldn't have been there collecting some money. We've had a lot of different things happen.
And there's no issues with the union of being able to let someone go from those?
No, I think when people think of a union, they think of like the Teamsters or whatever, where they're outside picketing. In the print union world, it is more to benefit the employees and just to make sure that everybody's getting fair wages and treated right. But it really doesn't get involved in the firing. Like, if someone's going to get fired, they can't go file a grievance with the CWA and say, Dawn was mean to me because I didn't show up 10 days in a row and she finally fired me. Like, there isn't that. They're not doing, it's not available to them to do that. We don't have any firings besides, you got to go. You've missed every day for 30 days.
Okay. Yeah. Just curious as to how that works. Maybe it's because, again, my perspective is very, either news driven or movie driven. Or one of the things that we were chatting about beforehand is you were just telling me about how last year, pretty understaffed, doing a lot of different things. This year, a bit, or a year ago before, and then to last year, and now is pretty fully staffed, able to step back a bit more. What was that transition like? And I know we've experienced a little bit of the same too. It seems like economically it's not as competitive for roles as much of it was maybe say 2021 and before. maybe things have just cooled off. It's just, with the interest rates or whatever it is. What was that like for you guys? Like, why were you understaffed? And then the transition out of fully staffed?
People were just not applying. I don't know if they were getting government assistance, if the gig job economy was taken over, but we were short staffed because there was nobody. I mean, we had ads everywhere. Indeed, Facebook, like anything that we could think of that would reach people, we had ads. People were just not applying.
That was 2023.
Full t-shirts for $20 an hour, and people are like, $20 an hour. Oh my gosh. As if that's like going back to $5.75 when I was a kid. And then one day it just flipped and people were just everywhere, applying for jobs, and it got better. I don't really know what month maybe August of 24, possibly. Then we were like, oh gosh, let's hold on to this resume because we're fully staffed, and something happens, we'll call them later.
How many roles did you have open at the peak before?
We always kept a screen print one open, and we always kept a press assistant open. Then we had shipping, receiving, quality control. We've had everything. Sometimes I just list things just to see if we can get someone with to build a better mousetrap, or just someone that came from a bigger shop that can throw some info into
some experience.
Yeah, just kind of see. Like, we didn't do that here, and we do 10 million. I'm always willing to learn. If somebody could throw some information at me, I'm ready to go.
What has been your role like then, and just your personal transition if now you're not running around as much with, you've got the full team, you may be thinking about different things. I know you talked about your husband, with his heart attacks and stuff. What's been that like? The
whole work on your business, not in your business, doesn't apply to me. I'm terrible at that. I'm so over the top. I've got to be there. I've got to be in the know. I think we talked about, like, when I'm on vacation and I'll message the girls, I'll be like, did you see the email from whoever? And then they'll just reply for me. They'll reply back to me. They'll just put a stop sign on things like, get off your phone and stop checking. And I think that's just because when you start from your basement and you build something to where we have today, it's hard to just step back and go, okay, I guess you're going to be fine without me. Here I go. I'm just going to walk away and just turn my back on my little business that means so much to me, because I'm like so invested in it. I mean, to the point of obsessed. Am I obsessed with printing? Maybe. I don't know how to work on the business and not in the business. I don't know how to separate those two. So I'm still there every day, all day. Even with Joe, I'm home today because you said a quiet place, and I don't have one at the shop. It is noisy. But I don't know how to not be there in the mix and doing something. I do all the purchasing still. I do all the payroll, all the billing, heck, all cart jobs. I haven't stepped back. The more people we get has never lightened my load.
So it's just what you've worked on just shifts a little bit differently, or you're still kind of checking on things.
Yeah, and I heard Stephen mention one time about virtual assistants, and I've heard you guys talk about it a couple times. And I have reached out to one. I was considering trying, just for the nonsense stuff, like just filter through my emails and star the ones I really need to give back. So any particular time, like right now, I have 42,696 emails open that are unread. And because my email is kind of like the catch-all, it could range from social media, it could range from actual orders, people replying back because like everybody's login to Printavo is their email. So if I send somebody a message from mine, it comes back to me. It's like, oh no, don't reply to me because I'm not going to see this. Yeah, I don't know how to detach from the spot. So a virtual assistant might be my first step. I'm just learning. That was going to be my goal for 2025, but I haven't got to start 2025 just yet. Maybe in February.
February's coming up. Yeah, I feel that too. My only solution that helped me personally was writing down the stuff that I was doing every single day. So even if it was small and you just jumped in and did it, I was writing it down on my phone. And then I would look at that at the end of the week. And I would say, what tasks should I have worked on and what tasks shouldn't I have worked on? And it was kind of shocking to see it for me listed out, because I feel like 80% was the stuff that I just should not have been working on, or I just did not want to. Like I physically, it kind of burned me out a little bit. And yeah, that for me, that assistant helped a lot. I used, and folks can try these folks too. I wanted someone in the States. There's definitely like somewhere.com, which they have folks in the Philippines. I know Steven uses a lot of them and sings their praises. Because I wanted someone to help me with things that were personal and work related, I wanted someone in the States. So for example, like, if they needed to call the state because there's some filing, like I wanted them to be able to act on my behalf. I wanted them to have credit card info. I wanted to have, bank login info to pay bills under X dollars, for example, just be able to handle it, or text me a screenshot and I'll look at it and then approve it. And I use Belay Solutions, BLAY Solutions. And she was in Texas, somewhere in Texas, and was really helpful. It was $1,800 for 45 hours. So from an hourly perspective, kind of expensive, but I could easily replace and swap, because after a year or so, I found that they would maybe leave and go do something else, but then they would train the new person for me really well. So anyway, that helped me. And then that way I literally said I wanted to only look at my email at, for example, 11 a.m. and at 4 p.m. And so I only wanted to see the things that are flagged for me that I need to respond on, and everything else just like either respond back or again, pay or, flag, whatever it is. That helped reduce, because I was like that where I was constantly checking the email because I want to be the first response, but I feel like it slowed me down actually over time.
Yeah, I feel like that too. All day, every day, I'm just refresh.
Yeah. And it works like early on. Like I think you have to do that if you're sub maybe, I don't know, 1 million in sales or so. Like that's what, forces and creates an incredible customer experience. But it seems like after, it actually slows down the efforts of you, either hiring or reaching out to some clients, dealing with this and that. But
I get myself in trouble because the girls are like, yes, we saw it. Will you stay off the email?
Yeah. And that was the other thing. I was pissing people off. Like, it was like, oh, you got this, right? Or you're going to schedule that, right? And instead of either letting them do it, and then if they didn't do it, like, hey, this is really important that I need you to be able to do this. I don't want to have to be able to think about this all the time. Yeah, it would definitely annoy them. I've actually gotten they've kicked me out of certain groups. So
everything that I do,
read stuff.
Like as we were growing our 10,000 square feet, we've grown out of it, but I used to have an office. So I didn't get involved in as much because I was behind closed doors. So I didn't see who's coming in the door. I didn't answer all the phones. Well, we had to cut through one wall to make room for more embroidery machines. So I lost my office, and now I'm sitting up front. First person people see when they come in the door.
See, yep, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. You need those hospital curtain things.
Yeah, the
just
curtain.
Slide it across.
Yeah, we say that all the time. Like, I just need to go to Target and grab a shower curtain and just put my desk behind the little curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Like, don't talk to me.
I have also seen a really cool hack. I've seen a shop owner. He got a membership at a local co-working space. So it was just a desk there. He got to meet and kind of network with some other business owners, which was neat. And then physically wasn't tempted, because what you see is just, it's out of mind.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
a little
good
bit
idea. I mean, I could come home. There's no reason why I need to be in the shop besides I need to be in the shop. There is everything that I do, I could do right from this desk right here. I can't not be in the mix. I can't not know. Like, we have 500 to 600 packages still missing from the storm. UPS, they're everywhere. Stuff's just everywhere in the one facility, and we're just waiting for it. So every day I'm like, how many boxes do we get? How many boxes do we get? Because customers are screaming. I ship my stuff. It's like, it's not here. I promise you. I've gone back. I've looked myself. But those storms that happened all the way on the 8th, January 8th, cause this trickle effect of boxes are just everywhere. Because UPS didn't run on the 8th because of the storm, the 9th because nobody was working, the 10th because only half people were working. So they were bringing back all these boxes to the facility, and it was just piling up. So then when everybody got back to being able to work 4 days later, they're having to go reload their trucks with all the stuff that was going back and come out and redeliver. Well, now stuff's lost. I mean, it's just everywhere. Tracking, like, oh my gosh, this shipped on the 8th and it's the 28th. Like, customers don't really want to hear that, even though they could track it themselves and see that it's stuck at the Lenexa facility or wherever it's at. Yeah, so
Gosh.
I cannot wait till February 1st, that's for sure.
I'm assuming, so you're in Kansas City. The Chiefs are, are doing really well. I know there was some debates over the last game with some of the calls, but
oh gosh,
either haters. Way, you must be busy though, right? Are you do contract print for them?
Mm-hmm. We do for Fanatics. We do the AFC Super Bowl, so we did the AFC. We'll be on for the Super Bowl. Hopefully we get that. That'll be fun. It's always fun putting your resume.
What is it like contract printing for a Super Bowl team?
Well, it's not for the Chiefs. It's actually, we work for Fanatics as our customer.
For Fanatics then.
Yeah. So it's kind of overwhelming because they kind of tell you, you got to be in at 10 o'clock and you've got to print this many pieces on this many presses. And then they tell you have to have 3 people per press and you have to have boxers.
Whoa. They give you all of those instructions?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And they don't want to pay anything.
Like in by 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.?
10 p.m. You have to start right after the game starts and go into morning. You've got trucks showing up every 2 hours. You've got to put tracking devices on the pallets that have to go to the commissary. And that's where the retailers go and pick their stuff up. So their schedules based off of the print shop schedules. I want to say there's 4 to 6 of us here in Kansas City that print around the
clock. So the trucks drop off and pick up every 2 hours?
You'll get your merchandise the week before. Yeah. You'll get your merchandise the week before. You'll do your test print. They send you the labels, the boxes, and you're ready. So if your team wins, so people from here, print shops in Kansas City, and then print shops in Buffalo, we're ready for whoever won. Then you go to work, you start printing. It's fun. It's
You're
exciting.
Watching the game. I'm assuming you're hanging out there, so you could maybe see, like, is anyone getting a head start or no? You don't want to.
Oh no, because the way the Chiefs play, and we could pull some stuff off in the final second. If you got printing in advance and they won or didn't win, you'd be stuck buying a bunch of inventory. They wouldn't want you to start until the final score, which
you're going all night.
It's too risky.
Do you enjoy it? Is it stressful? What, all of the above?
I don't recommend it. That's so terrible. I hope they're not watching. I don't recommend it because it is so hard on your staff. So you're required to have X numbers of people, and this is on a Sunday night. And then you got Monday comes. Well, then you got regular business. Well, you're done because you've been up since 10 o'clock the night before, but you can't have people not show up Monday morning. So it's really, I don't know if we'll do it again. We'll probably do the Super Bowl this year. We'll probably decline future years. It's fun. It's fun to say. It's fun to post about. Yeah, we print this. And sometimes we've had the news come by once before. It's all just a resume builder. It's not a moneymaker at all.
Really? Whatever you can say about that, is it mainly because there's overtime and the stress added and stuff? It's just not, there's really no margin in it?
We have to bribe people. No, we have to bribe people double time. They got a set dollar amount, which is under $1.50, to print overnight. You got double staff, double time on that double staff, and then you got to go back to work Monday morning.
And it's a complicated, I haven't seen the shirts, but like, are we talking multiple locations or is it?
One color, one location, 4 colors, said champions across the front and like silver glitter and black, white, silver. It's not complicated at all. It is just because it has to be done in that time frame, and then you have to carry on business as usual Monday. That is where it doesn't benefit us, because then if everybody's tired because they got off at 5 to 7 o'clock in the morning, well, run home and take a nap. Oh, I overslept. I didn't wake up till noon. Well, now our day's a bust because 6 people were tired. I don't know. I don't know how
the stipulations thing I didn't know about. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
With the number of people,
send people.
And
they
to
send
watch
staff. They'll send a on-site person that's just double checking that you're not selling stuff out the back door. You're not, you're staying on schedule. They're in control with the person at the commissary. It's like, how many do they have? 1 pallet. How many do they have? 3 pallets.
What about stacking it? Is it some particular order?
Yeah, you got to stack it a certain way. 3 this way, 2 this way, 6 high. Pallet wrap it with the tracking device inside of it. Give it to the driver. Text the on-site person that you're sending how many pallets. Last year they had a company out of North Carolina, maybe, that they contracted about 8 of their trucks to come in town. So they've got a lot invested. Plus they send, 6 print shops, 10, 11,000 t-shirts at Nike. It's so expensive stuff. They've got all this inventory in 4 different cities. So they would have had Bills and Chiefs and Washington and whoever, Eagles. All 4 cities would have had print shops set up and ready to go. So Fanatics does have a huge investment in it. And it's pretty organized, honestly. It really comes down to how can your print shop work the following day.
If you didn't print, the team lost. Is there any type of compensation then to having people ready?
Yeah, you can bill them for having to repack, because you're supposed to start unboxing some of the stuff, pre-staging. So boxing it back up, shipping it, you could bill them for your labor. I don't know. The Chiefs don't lose, so we haven't had to do that yet. But I know it happens to the other cities.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. I appreciate being so honest, Dawn. If anyone wants to reach out to be able to chat with you, how can they do that?
Either email, office@e2embroidery.com, or Facebook. I'm always on social media. Obviously, I have to have my hand in everything. So I'm the person on the other side of the emails, the social media, cell phone, however, smoke
All
signals.
Right.
Yeah.
Dawn Eddings, thank you so much. Hopefully your husband's doing okay as well. And happy 2025. Excited for this year. We appreciate you guys being able to join us, Print Hustlers. This is Dawn Eddings. This is Print Hustlers Podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully that was informative. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy all the stuff we're putting out, it's really helpful. We love to just be able to see it. That means that we're doing a good job. To subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.